part of this continued playbook that Donald Trump has been using, which is to silence critics, right? First he went after the law firms, then he went after companies, then he went after everyday Americans. Now he's going after colleges and universities.
That was just some of my conversation on Face the Nation with Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey over the dispute between President Trump and Harvard. The university this week filed a lawsuit against the administration. Harvard is challenging threats to cut billions in research funding for failing to comply with several demands. For more, we are joined by Steven Pinker. He is the co-president of Harvard's Council of Academic Freedom. Thank you so much for making some time for us today.
Pleasure.
So you've been quoted saying that the president's actions are, quote, following the playbook of totalitarian dictatorships elsewhere in the world. Can you talk about what got you to that point?
Well, the history of dictatorships show that among the things that they do is try to neutralize any source of criticism or organization of the people, such as, in this case, law firms, companies, and universities, places where people congregate and they discuss what's going on.
And Professor, you're essentially sounding the alarm that you cannot put a price on academic freedom, or any freedom for that matter. But, Harvard was the first institution to explicitly refuse to comply with the administration. Because the other fact is that it is costly, right? I mean, how do you balance trying to survive as an academic institution and, standing on this very firm ground that you are at?
Yes, well, the Trump administration is breaking the law, and that's the basis for the lawsuit. When the government funds research projects at a university, after the university, the scientists at the university compete for those funds. If they get a grant, they're using taxpayer money to advance science, and the administration doesn't have the right to jerk around a university by threatening to withhold money that Congress has authorized for research. And the pretext that this is to combat anti-Semitism is nonsense. As a Jewish faculty member, I joined with hundreds of other Jewish faculty members in saying, this isn't helping us. Cutting funds for cancer research to advance Jewish interests, that's not the kind of thing that's particularly good for Jewish interests, and no thank you.
And take us off campus for a moment and, just try to explain to our viewers who is going to lose out if this funding is ultimately cut? What's at stake here for the average American?
First of all, the country, because the pace of advance in biomedical science is just stupendous. There are people walking around today who just a couple of years ago would have been dead if it weren't for cancer treatments that were just recently developed, and so on for every disease. But second of all, there's a large cohort of young scientists who feel that their entire careers are being threatened. Not only will they be laid off and unemployed, but they just don't see a future in science. And so all of the investment that we've made in a whole generation of young scientists will go to waste. Then there's just the taxpayer waste and all of the ongoing experiments that may have to be suspended, where all the money that's been put into them in the past few years will just go down the drain. Scientists have said they may have to euthanize monkeys that are in the midst of experiments. There are samples that will spoil. There are volunteers that they'll lose track of. So this is the damage will be particularly acute in parts of the country where the university and its labs are themselves among the biggest employers. And that isn't just true of the Boston area. We heard from Governor Healey of Massachusetts, but many parts of the country, such as Alabama, the university is one of the biggest employers.
And so what is your message to those other universities that have not responded in the same way that Harvard has?
Well, it would be to take advantage of the law. The Trump administration now is breaking the law, and universities have every right to insist that the money that has been authorized by Congress for research that benefits the whole country go there and not be used as a way to just punish universities just because the Trump administration feels hostile to them.
Professor Steven Pinker, thank you so much. We hope you'll come back as we continue to follow this case.
Thank you.